morning, boys and girls. I have really been missing you. You know my favorite thing to do is tell Bible stories, so I was really glad Miss Ariel asked me today to tell you a Bible story. Okay, today's Bible story deals with spies, flooding rivers, soldiers, falling down walls. Raise your hand if you think you know what story I'm going to tell you. Okay, here we go. The story starts with Moses, okay? Now this was before Jesus was born, all right? Moses led the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, and he led them all the way up here. He was bringing them to Canaan, to the promised land. That's what God had promised to the Israelites. So Moses leads them up to Moab. And God decided that this was as far as Moses was going, and so Moses died. And God appointed a new leader, Joshua. He said, Joshua, you're going to be the new leader of the Israelites. Joshua was scared. You know why? There are 1 million Israelites. 1 million is a lot of people. So Joshua was scared, but God said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. I've got a whole bunch of plans for you, Joshua. It's going to be okay. All right, so Joshua took over, and he led the Israelites a little bit further into the land of Moab, and in order to get to the land of Canaan, he had to conquer a few towns. Now the people in these towns saw them coming, and they were scared, and they didn't want these 1 million people to take over their land, so they tried fighting the Israelites, and they all lost. The Israelites always won. They won every battle in the land of Moab. So then God said, okay, now I want you to go across the river. This is the Jordan River. This is the Sea of Galilee. You remember those places from the stories of Jesus? It's the same Sea of Galilee. It's the same Jordan River. They're in the same place. Okay, so God says, Joshua, I want to go over here. I want you to conquer the city of Jericho. Now you know what story. I want you to conquer Jericho. Now here's your first plan. The first plan I have for you. Joshua, get yourself 2 spies. Send them over to Jericho, have them check it out. So 2 spies did that. They left Moab, they crossed the river, they went to Jericho. Now Jericho was a walled city. Aren't I quite the artist here? Okay. So this is a city with a huge wall around it. Imagine Fremont with a huge wall all the way around it. Now this wall was thick. It was so thick that they could have houses inside or on top of the wall. So that wall had to be at least as thick as your bedroom or this library that I'm standing in. It was a huge, very thick wall. So the spies came. They were in disguise. They sneaked into the city of Jericho and they looked around and they were counting soldiers, checking out how thick the wall was. And then they got to thinking, I think somebody's looking for us. We need to hide. God's plan was to lead them to Rahab's house. Rahab had a house on the wall of Jericho. Okay? God told them, Rahab is going to like you. Rahab is going to save you. So they went to Rahab's house, and sure enough, she let them in. Then the king of Jericho thought, oh no, they're spies. I got to go find them. I got to kill them. So he closed the gates of the city. We'll grow some gates here. Okay, he closed the gates and the spies were locked inside. Then he sent the soldiers to look for the spies. They went to Rahab's house. Are there spies in here? Oh, no. They were here, but they left. They went that way. So the soldiers, they looked around her house, they didn't find him, and the soldiers went that way. Rahab went upstairs on the roof of her house, and right where she had hidden them, the soldiers were under the straw on the top of her roof. So she got them out, brought them downstairs, and she said, now I saved you, I protected you from those soldiers. You have to save me when you come to destroy the city. I believe in your God. I have faith in your God. I know that He is strong. I know He is powerful. I know He helped you before, and I know He's going to help you again. Please save me and my family. The spies said, yes, we will, if you keep it secret. Don't tell anybody we were here. Don't tell anybody we're going to save you. I won't tell anybody. I'll save. So the spies said, okay, on the day we come to attack, so that we can find you, you have to hang a red rope out your window. Okay, so she was to put a red rope out her window on the day of the attack so they could find her. But today, she let them out another rope, a really long rope, all the way to the ground. And the spies left, and they went that way. And they went back to Joshua, and they told Joshua, we can do this. We can take that city. With God's help, we can take that city. That was God's first plan, to help the spies. Now God had another plan. Now he has to get 1 million people across the river. And this wasn't just a little river, it was a flooding river. It was flood season. No problem. God stops the water. It just stops. He told the Israelites to hurry. And they hurried across the river. All 1 million of them. All 1 million of them hurried across the river. And then, see that? God opened it up, dried it up. After they were across, there's the river flowing again. Okay, now they're all on this side. So that was God's second plan, to get 1 million people across. Now he has a third plan. Now we have to conquer this city. God says, I have a plan. You're not going to believe this, but this is how it's going to go. Joshua, for 6 days, I want you to have a parade. This parade is going to have 40,000 soldiers. 40,000 soldiers, that's a lot. 7 priests. These priests will be blowing horns. The horns were shaped kind of like that. They're rams, made from ram's horns. Okay, so they would blow those. So 40,000 soldiers, 7 priests, and bring the Ark of the Covenant with you also. That was a very holy piece that the children, the Israelites really worshiped, really liked. Bring that with you. Do that for 6 days. Parade. Soldiers, be quiet. Don't say anything. 40,000 people have to be quiet. 6 days, do that parade around Jericho. Don't talk. Only the priests blow their horns. On the seventh day, better idea, you're going to walk around 7 times. 7 times on the 7th day. Around and around and around and around. On the 7th time, everybody stops. The priests are going to blow their horns really loud and for a long time. Then, Joshua, you shout. Shout! Shout, because the Lord has given us this city. And then all 40,000 soldiers, now you make noise. All 40,000 soldiers are probably lined up all the way around the city, and all of you make as much noise as you can. And the walls will fall down. Then Joshua, I want you to send the spies to go find Rahab, go look for that red rope and go find Rahab and save her because she has faith in me. Save Rahab because she has faith. You'll be able to walk into the city because all the walls will fall down, just climb over top of them. Go into the city and get all the gold and the silver and everything that's precious and bring it back to Joshua and he'll put it in the Lord's treasury. Don't take a single penny for yourself. Put it all in the Lord's treasury. And that's exactly what happened. 6 days they marched around. The 7th day they made the noise at all. How do you think the people of Jericho, what were they thinking? People are walking around going, well, they're not even shooting their arrows at us. They're not doing a thing. These people can't be that strong. They can't be that great. But they were. The Israelites were strong with God's help, weren't they? So we have 3 plans. Right? The plan to save the spies, the plan to cross the river, the plan to conquer Jericho. And he had one more plan. He planned to have me tell you a story today. Thank you for listening. See you soon. One more thing, boys and girls. if you want to, you can read this story for yourself in Joshua, the book of Joshua, the Old Testament, Joshua 2 through 6. It's the whole story. Maybe you want to read it with Mom and Dad, or look for it in your Bible story book at home. Okay? Bye.